So here's some fun information about the drums for my song Future Someone. I did the entire song. I did the piano, I did the guitar stuff, I did. There's a whole lot of weird sounds, like synthesizer stuff and string plucks and whatever. And I sent this song to my brother, and I had a general beat, which turned out to be, the beat when the drums come in and stay until the end. And he was like, "Oh, do you want me to do fills or anything?" So I was like, "Sure, just make some shit up." And he sent me the session, and whatever he did initially, I I just loved the way that the drums were bounced. It was like raw. There was like no treatment to it. Whatever it was, I was like, that's that's exactly what I want. And the cymbals are somewhat unruly in this song. And I tried a bunch of stuff because I crushed them. I used the Blackface 1176 plugin from Universal Audio. I did, I believe it's Ed Sheeran's uh, all button destruction. So it's just fully crushed and compressed. And that session my brother sent me through that setting on the 1176 did did what you're about to hear, and I just was like, that's it. And then he sent another version, and it was like, treated and like cleaned up a little bit, and I just couldn't get the same like thwack. I couldn't get the room sound right. And so I was like, you know what? As problematic as these cymbals are, because they're very washy, I de-essed them a little bit. I took out some high end. In the final mix, I don't know if there was like some mid side or whatever that was done, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna live with the extra loudness and the excitement of it, and just let them be. But these drums turned out to be so cool, and I chopped what my brother sent me into these random fills. And I hate to say it, studio tricks, and given, you know, I got what I received and I decided to manipulate them, and it actually turned out to be pretty cool. I'm really proud with how these turned out. So thank you, brother, for giving me permission to make up fake drum fills out of your drum fills that you sent me. So that was real. Those two, I think, were chopped up separately. I made up that one. That had 2 or 3 separate parts. And this is correct. Now, this isn't the final EQ or anything, but like the space of the drums, they sound warm. It just did it for me. Get out of here, bass. And this is just all raw for the most part. I did some EQing. Let's go through some individuals. So sometimes, let's see, I did throw up some Ocean Way. So it's quite possible that, let's see, it's quite possible I added some extra room to some of these parts. So these are just fully blown out. These could be the overheads. Because with the room and the overheads, I chose one or the other, so this could be one of the two. I want to say it's the overheads. This is crotch mic, or as we like to call it, the dick mic. Got that one from Butch Walker. This is the kick. When my brother did the session, he ended up doing some samples too, I believe. So I might have just thrown the kick out all together and just did the kick solo, so it's clean. And then this is kick sub. Sounds good. Might have to use that in the future. Snare top. This is going into Ocean Way. Let me unfreeze this. I have to freeze things because otherwise my computer will freak out and then the audio just goes to shit. So this is without Ocean Way, with Ocean Way. Snare front of kit. This one has Ocean Way on it as well. Let me unfreeze this. I guess I just use the rooms to make the snare just pop more, so it sounds small. A lot of compression. This guy, oh, this is the tom. So these are more for the fills. And then there's a low tom, the same EQ. So just probably samples as well. This is the kick low pass. I don't even know if that's doing anything. That is what carries through the reverse. So when that's in, there's some other stuff going on. So let's unmute some stuff. So slightly squashed. And that's what kind of keeps the rhythm going from the re-intro, second verse, up until the chorus hits, and then the drums start filling their way into the blowout chorus outro extravaganza. So yeah, that's basically it. And then the other cool thing is that this clock, the ticking of the clock, mute these again, mute you. All right, you guys are good. So this clock sits on top of my parents' piano, and I took probably like 6 or 7 seconds of the clock, and I just put a series of the ticks on there. It could have been 10 seconds or 20 seconds. But when I was writing this song, I sat at the piano and I, for whatever reason, was like, oh, it'll probably be fun to write a song to the tempo of this clock, 120 BPMs for the math challenged out there. And I, for whatever reason, it hit. I'm like, great, these chords. Let me go back to the piano. Like, this just hit me, and I couldn't believe it. Just weird chords. They sound normal, but it's a little weird. And I just played that to the ticking of this clock. And then I ran upstairs to my computer. I took the chords, put them in, recorded the clock, put the clock in. It was like boom. that was the song. And I think I nailed the arrangement probably in 2 weeks. And then it took me a minute to get the drums right, and it took me a minute to figure out the arrangement of the vocals for the chorus and the outro, as well as what was the other thing I was missing? I think the chord arrangement in the end, when it changes, when it goes from this just happened one day and it felt right. And that's the same for this whole part as the drums are like winding up. So when the drums are getting ready to let loose, let's see. So they're not moving, it's just the 3-chord pattern. And the way the drums are crushed, where it has like that little like reverberation. Love that. So yeah, that's the headache that the drums were. I could talk about other parts of the song, but let's just keep it to the drums. So yeah, it took a lot of work for the drums to sound this organized. My session was an absolute mess. There's probably, in previous sessions, there's multiple versions of quantization, dragging parts, and like having, all the overheads and the kicks and the cymbals line up in, the sections that I really liked that my brother just jammed through. And I just found what worked, and it was like, boom, it was in. But man, doing that, I set myself up for trying to climb Mount Everest. But I'm really happy with the way it turned out. So good on you, Kevin. And thank you for doing the drums for this, because this is a really fucking dope song, and I can't wait for people to hear it when it's out on the 20th. Thank you for watching.